It is about time that the bush rat will warn the domestic rat that war is coming and looming. I've always said it. 2027 will be a very decisive moment for this nation. By 2027, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will have been out. By 2027, Tinubu will do everything to muster power, to hijack power from the Fulanis. 2027, the Fulanis themselves will do everything possible to see that they break that gentleman agreement between the North and South. And most importantly, by 2027, they are already making arrangements to ensure that Peter Obi does not have a voice, or in fact, does not even have a life. Just yesterday, we saw what Akpakomiza Ekpabolo did, an open threat to Peter Obi. The police have not released a letter of warning to the state government to talk with restraint and possibly withdraw or retract its statement. No. Today, which is the celebration, the 65th celebration of Peter Obi, would you believe that, as I have it on my screen over there, that Almajiri boys, these are the northern foot soldiers. You know, those boys that don't go to school, they are good for nothing other than they are used for political talks. They are the version of the MC Oluomos, the Agberos that we have in Lagos. They actually beat the living day out of people who are celebrating on behalf of Peter Obi in Kaduna State. And what we have in reaction, instead of the police to arrest those Almajiri boys and make sure that they protect those guys who would have seek for permission, because it's something that is elaborate. It is something that is being done in the 36 plus FCT. Yeah. However, the police did not protect them. The police have now put in what we call a what? No access, no permission. Everybody should return home. That there won't be a celebration of Peter Obi in Kaduna State. I am sure that in the coming hours, they will ban it in Lagos, which I am still expecting. I have seen the video this morning that some obedience haven't hired a bus. They want to go for a rally in celebration of our principal Peter Obi. However, I know that the boys of Agberos, of the boys of MC Oluomo, are still looking for the perfect time to strike. Surprisingly, it has to come from the north. And yes, for me, I think the north are just sending that signal that the possibility that an Igbo man will bring this nation to its knees, or an Igbo man will become so influential and begin to threaten the relevance of the northerners in the political arena, will never be tolerated. Because otherwise, this is just a simple, if these guys were actually, going out there to just propagate, evangelize the gospel, I'm not thinking the Almajiris will have to hit them. So you have to see that these political, juggernauts, these political bandits, let me put it that way, are just after the head of Peter Obi. They want to ensure that the head of Peter Obi rolls. And I think Peter Obi must see that this is a battle that he must not do anything to contain the Nigerian people. Because the Nigerian people are ready to fight, to die, to sustain this energy for him from now to 2027. Everything Peter Obi must do is not come out and tell people to lay low, because some people have actually gotten beaten in Kaduna. The beating of their life. A brutal beating. Why? Because they said they let us just sit out and celebrate. And this is why I've always said it, that look at it. Look at what is happening in the north. Like, this is a man who in the last 2 years has donated more to the north than even the president. Are you talking about in form of empathy? Peter Obi has visited the north more than any political figure. He has been to almost all the states in the north, though he won't leave a state in the north without donating at least 5 million naira. He has been there. Putting aside, even if he's doing it for political gains, but this is a man who is sincere, a man of integrity. And this is why I've always said that goodness cannot last in Nigeria. Why do you think Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated? Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu dared to be good to his people and, of course, to the remaining people who are under the shackles of the Fulani oligarchs. The Nigerian police, who are just shameless. Ekpobolo said something. Ekpobolo literally, placed what we call a ransom, a death ransom on Peter Obi. Because he has said that if Peter Obi enter a door without his consent, that Peter Obi should accept his fate for anything that happens to him. And we all know that the center of cultism, the capital of cultism, is Edo State. So what does that even mean? What does it mean? And we have not heard a word from the police, the Nigerian army, and this is how revolution actually starts. Because we have been waiting, so many outcry. Police, call Edo governor to order. Let him withdraw the statement. Police, the Oluomo, the Egbeto Kuns, all of them, they turned deaf ear. But immediately, the obedient in Kaduna State, who were just on their own celebrating, dancing, trying to evangelize that today is Peter Obi's birthday, and they're sharing gifts, just sharing rice and beans and spaghetti and indomie. They even shared it to the Almajiris. After they got the rice and indomie, they went to drop it. I believe they gave them something that actually poured that anger in them, and they next thing now, slap left, right, center. God, I actually said, if care is not taken, 2027, Nigeria will come to an end. And I'm not surprised, because when the likes of MC Oluomo are now writing books, the likes of MC Oluomo are now sharing that my service to humanity under the regime of Tinubu, hey, there's a serious issue out there. Serious one, for that matter. The 2027 election, no matter how I come out on social media and I cry that it is the turn of the South, that the power must go to Tinubu, must go to Peter Obi, that it's only Peter Obi that will come on board and complete the 8 years, the gentleman agreement that the North and South have heard. It is only when Peter Obi accepts the fact that he is ready to go head to head. Otherwise, it is just a waste of time for you and I. Yesterday, I saw a book, and this book was launched by MC Oluomo, titled My Service to Humanity. For some of you who might not know MC Oluomo, that's a screenshot over there on my screen. MC Oluomo is telling us that he has served humanity. Just in case you don't know, MC Oluomo is the warlord Tinubu uses for his political machinations. When it comes to ballot snatching, when it comes to talks, moving ballot paper around Lagos State, and now MC Oluomo has gotten a promotion to national stage because he's now the chairman of NURT Nigeria, and indeed, they will always be the one in charge of the logistics. So what do you think we have? Peter Obi is currently in a cage, and there are only two ways out of these. Is either he goes in there and he understands that he will be ready to sacrifice his blood and sweat if he truly wants to grab power, emancipate the people, emancipate is the Nigerian people, and achieve his aims and objectives. Or, yes, we continue ranting online, and when they rig us, we absolutely do nothing. Because no Nigerian, I advise, no Nigerian should go out there and protest on behalf of Peter Obi if Peter Obi will not be a part of it. Okay, so the obedient movement, who are seemingly looking like a toothless bulldog, okay, Akpakomiza in Edo State. We used to say that Edo State is the headquarter of obedience, and yet Akpakomiza, Ekpobolo took to the stage. The video has gone viral, which I'm going to show in a jiffy now. And he has said that Obi must not come to Edo. You come into Edo and you did not inform me. Anything where you see make you, just imagine that barbarism coming from a state governor, not a state thug, not a state criminal, a state governor. The same thing that you can imagine what will happen when the campaign starts. I'm sorry for Peter Obi if he doesn't want to get radical. And I know so many obedient will try to go at me because of this content. But I'm telling you, you as my fellow, because I'm an obedient, now. I wasn't an obedient prior to the election, but post the election, I haven't seen the good jobs and good works and the heartedness of Obi. I got converted, right? Yeah, and I still have a soft touch for Showore, by the way. But the point is this: Obi has a viability, but that viability will be truncated if he does not show the strength in terms of being radical. It is normal for a man to be able to speak and fight when you are threatened. A man who doesn't fight or speak back will always be seen as an easy walkover. And I don't think Peter Obi is one, but it shouldn't be the class of governors like Akpa Komiza, who has not even spent up to a year spewing rubbish. We saw what Father Aliyah of Benue, who his people has almost been, all of them have always been eliminated. Since Father Aliyah became the governor, after just the same moment Tinubu became the president, Father Aliyah, that's 2 years in time now. Almost 2,000 Benue, if not more. There are so many that are accounted for. Over 2,000 Benue indigenes have been hired by Fulani oligarchs and these Fulani elders or whatnot. And yet, Father Aliyah could not say that openly that he has banished anything Fulani, marauding elders, open grazing. He doesn't have the capacity, he doesn't have the heart, the courage to say that. But it is Obi that they see. And it's not because Obi is an Igbo man, no, it is not. It is because they feel that Obi will always respond in the way they have calculated by being the gentleman that he is. They said Obi had to turn back on his way to Benue. He had to turn back. Right? So now you can see now that in the era of Tinubu now, only the strong can have a say. They choke you. That is why you can see Wike now is so prominent, so pronounced, so visible. And I'm always tempted to ask Obi, maybe you will join this ADC. You can just, the only battle you have to fight in the ADC is fight for the presidential ticket. And Obi, you need to have to pay chishi. Nigeria has gotten to a rotten stage that, for this Nigeria to get prepared, you have to pretend by being a player of that game. And when you get there, if there's anybody that I know would do this, that they will play along, okay? Because you are not ready to lead a revolution. You are not ready to lead a protest. He doesn't even believe in a protest. So you have to go through the other way, which is going to the primaries. You self try, maybe you push for a direct primaries, then we, the citizens, will come and vote you. And then we'll follow the process of counting until you are being pronounced as a winner. Because if you say you want to go into indirect primaries, are there no allegations already by Kachuku? There are so many allegations already that Atiku is, I think, is it 16 million thereabout offering to the chairman of the ADC to step down, so that he's just right now he is spreading the ground for himself so that he can have a soft landing when it is time for primaries, putting his people at those key positions. And yet, we have not seen any move, any step, any action from our guy in this ADC. And then in Labour Party, yes, there's been a new hope. However, we must not forget the voice of Jacob, the hand of Esau of Tinubu in Labour Party. We still know that Abure and the Apapa Lamidi, all these guys, they still have their tentacles, still infiltrated in the party. So these are the issues. These are the issues. We must be able to call our principal. Today is his birthday, and I pray that he celebrates his birthday, that may he live long, right? But putting that aside, while we might get carried away in the spirit of joy and of course celebration, don't forget that the enemies will always want to strike you at your point of maybe height of peak of happiness, or at the lowest point that you are vulnerable. So you must be very, very careful. I mean, MC Oluomo now is being let's listen to the reactions of people regarding MC Oluomo becoming, hey, it's crazy, man.
Feel from being taking, maybe being in charge of the small part, the way they rose through the ranks, and you RTW is. You go through the ranks based on how violent you are. So if you are not, if you are baby violent, you will say I'm the small part, Ojuelegba part or CMS. If once your violence is going up, they are giving you regional control. You'll be controlling maybe local government or multiple. So he would have rose through the ranks before he got to where he is as a state coordinator. And I remember there was a time I read that there was a fight in Oshodi dethrone him, and there was a lot of stabbing. I think they stabbed him multiple times, but he survived. Because Oshodi okay is the central NURT this thing, like a headquarter in Lagos. So there was a fight, between some factions that led they wanted to dethrone him. And in that structure, the way they dethrone people is through violence. If you want to take out the boss, you have to do it and take him out completely. So if the boss is refusing to leave by diplomacy, you, you have to raise voice to take him out by force. So that's how these people operate. So you right through the ranks by way of you have to be increasing your violence and you have to show that you have capacity of violence for you to rise through the ranks. So and that's how the structure is basically. So it's what it is. I don't know what else he's expecting us to read from the book. Or maybe he's just trying to launder his image, probably.
He's getting ready to be the governor of Lagos.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, growing up, I grew up in Oshodi. I went to Ikedagama School close to Bolade, for anybody that knows there. So he's somebody we knew right from time when he used to be like the regular tout. When I say the regular tout, I mean like literally those normal touts you see fighting on
So,
the
so
streets.
like a proper area boy.
Proper area boy, exactly.
Yes, the one
Yeah,
collecting 100 naira
exactly,
from the
exactly.
bosses
And he
directly.
doesn't walk properly. If you guys notice, he walks like bent on one side when he walks. So, but I mean, just like Tinubu kind of politics now, he helped. He was always helping the ruling party maintain Oshodi, make sure whatever happens in Oshodi happens in favor of the ruling party and stuff. So from there, he started going to Alausa, moved closer to Tinubu them and stuff like that. So he became politically very, very relevant because of what those politicians were using him for. And then from there, just like I don't know the last speaker that said that they had all those fights, different factions. You may even want to check. He used to belong to, how in Lagos they have this junction, like they call Yoruba people will say, which junction you come from. So his own then was Lion, I think Lion Junction or something like that. So he used to be like the head of Lion Junction. So more or less like those primitive empires conquering empires to dominate their territory and stuff like that. So all those stuff continued. Then they started collecting all those money they will collect from Oshodi. You remember when we used to have that Oshodi okay? Before they, if you know Oshodi very well, coming towards from Bagada, heading into Oshodi as if you're going to Airport Road. There's this new bus terminal. There are fashion,
Yeah,
yeah, by the right.
it's not Bolade. Bolade is facing Arena.
And not
Also,
yeah,
there's one
but
bus
on
stop.
top of that Oshoduke, there is by the right, there is that bus terminal, new modern bus terminal that was, I think it was
Yes. That this guy is
Ambode
doing
now, yeah.
Apple. Yes,
Exactly. So those
central.
places, it wasn't like that before. So it used to be hawkers by the roadside, remember? And then those Oshodi going to Arena before Arena was even properly constructed. So all those Oluomo them were collecting all those money. They come like in the morning, they collect all those morning fee from those women, and then they come in the afternoon, they collect, they come in the evening. So until those areas became like a compensation for Oluomo because of what he was doing. And to be honest, you see, he came from just the normal MC to what he finally became. If you know that guy before, Omo, nothing, like nothing. But as we speak now, he has, I think, 2 or 3 of his children in the US, schooling.
Yeah, they are, they
Yeah,
are, they
schooling.
they
I
are,
think
they
so.
are in
Two of
Georgia,
them have even,
in
I think two
Atlanta.
have even graduated or something like that. He
Yes,
has houses.
they are even citizens as we speak. I
Exactly,
don't know whether he gave birth to some of them yet.
exactly.
I
And
don't
he
know.
was visiting the US then. He bought his house, which I am very aware of, in
Yes,
Atlanta, and he bought in New York. So
in Atlanta.
yeah,
Yeah. I think he currently has a green card.
exactly.
He has a free access to
You know,
Atlanta.